What is up, guys, and welcome back to Ben Reacts, where we create the most high quality movie reactions on planet Earth. Today, we are going to be reviewing the movie Fall Guy. This movie was directed by David Leitch, who also directed other films such as The Fast and Furious, the John Wick series, and the Deadpool movie. And the style of this movie is similar to those other movies in various ways. A quick summary of the plot is in this movie, Colt, played by Ryan Gosling, is a stuntman who is in love with the producer of the movie that he is stunting for. Some whose name is Jody. Some other characters are introduced early on, including the hotshot main character that he's hunting for named Tom Ryder, played by Aaron Johnson. In the beginning, Jody and Colt agree to get spicy margaritas on the beach, but disaster strikes when Colt is involved in an unfortunate accident where he falls from a bunch of cables and he's out for 18 months. And that time he becomes a car dropper off person. I forget what that's called. Flash to 18 months later, and Colt's previous movie producer, Gail, who is played by Hannah Waddingham, calls Colt back and tells him that Jody requested him personally to be the stuntman on the new sci-fi movie that she is producing. He makes his return to the set and reconnects with Jody, but there are some mixed feelings that are expressed throughout the movie, and Jody is expressing those feelings through her new sci-fi movie, which seems to be a parody of Doom. It's about a space cowboy that disappears on his alien lover. This kind of trope of them reconnecting is interrupted when Gail, the manager of the movie, informs Colt that the main character of the movie, the hotshot Tom, has disappeared, and she needs Colt to track him down. Chaos ensues as Colt battles against countless armed men in various locations. Including he drinks some hallucinogenics and he's seeing unicorns. All the while, as he's battling all of these people, he's talking to Jody about the current state of their relationship. Eventually, it's revealed that the hotshot Tom was responsible for the murder of another stuntman. And then Gail conspired with Tom to frame the murder on Colt. When Colt makes a dramatic escape from Tom via jet ski, he finally admits that he distanced himself from Jody because as the fall guy, he is always expected to be okay. And when he was not okay and did not allow Jody to see that part of him. In all honesty, I would have preferred if the movie ended right here, during his confession on the jet ski, but it keeps going. Followed by his apparent death as there's an explosion, and then Gail's attempt to frame him for the murder, but he makes his way back to set and makes Tom confess by making him face Tom's worst fear, which is actually doing a stunt. And in the end, Colt and Jody end up on the beach happily ever after, doing donuts in a truck. Before addressing anything else in this movie, it's important to look at its theme of irreverence. It constantly is breaking the fourth wall, with characters directing Jody's sci-fi movie, asking questions like, do you like split screens, or are they cheesy? And should they realize that they're in a movie in the third act? At one point, Gail points out that her movies are wrapped in the sexy bacon of nihilism that makes the audience love them. It's aware of its own failures, and it's aware that the audience is reacting to these failures. This theme of kind of irreverence is also shown in the ending, in which the sci-fi movie, it turns out, was played by Jason Momoa, and they change a bunch of lines and make it like really silly. The sci-fi movie. The second part that I want to talk about, the second theme in this movie, is romance. I thought in a lot of ways this romance made a lot of sense. I think that Jodie and Colt have good chemistry together, and their relationship feels like it could be something real. And it seems like the feelings that they're expressing to each other could be realistic depictions of a real life relationship. And it was believable. Especially that one moment when they were distanced from each other and they're both talking through microphones. I loved how that was shot, kind of emphasizing the distance that's grown between them during this 18 months. And also, I really like the scene where she pulls up the thing on his hat. I think that like that kind of small, intimate gesture can feel very out of place and almost like, just out of place in like the relationship that it would have once made sense in. And I think that that was a really interesting detail. But at the same time, I think that this romance story also has a lot of problems. The character development of Ryan Gosling's character, Colt, never went any deeper than, oh, I'm a fall guy, and so I feel bad when I'm not okay, and I feel like I can't express those feelings. And also, I did not like how the relationship between the two characters is being kind of repaired as Colt is going through battle and like doing stunts. Like they're on the phone talking through all their problems while he's doing this, or while he's like trying to investigate the murder. This allows the writers of the movie to kind of kill two birds with one stone, because we get this plot development, we get the action, and we get the romance. But honestly, I think that it makes it lose a lot of its value in every genre that it's trying to kind of appease, in a sense. I feel like this is almost the equivalent of the Subway Surfers at the bottom of the screen on TikTok, where like people can't focus on like someone talking, so they need to have like another distraction. It felt like the distraction was like Colt fighting, and the actual conversation was about like their relationship. But the movie wasn't brave enough to focus on one aspect and had to focus on all the aspects at the same time. And I think this partly has to do with David Leitch being the director. He himself is a former stuntman, and so this movie was very personal for him. And also his wife, his current wife, is like a director of movies, so I think it's somewhat autobiographical. David Leitch has created other movies that I absolutely love, like John Wick, where it's an action movie, and it sticks with being an action movie. We love John Wick because we feel bad for him because we love dogs, and that guy killed his dog, and so he's just going after him the whole time. And I think that's like pretty simple. They didn't try to make it into a comedy, really. They didn't try to make it into a romance, and so it's like it made sense in that film. They didn't try to do too much. And in a movie like Deadpool, they emphasize the irreverence of it, and he's constantly breaking the fourth wall, turning towards the audience and saying things, And I think because they focused on that and the action, it didn't feel overproduced and overdone. In conclusion, I think that this movie was spread too thin, and in the end, the greasy, sexy bacon was Ryan Gosling. And even Ryan Gosling's sexy bacon could not save it for me.